Greetings, my fellow geothermal students. Here we are, NRG 246, Geothermal Energy, Introduction to Geothermal Energy Technologies. Jonathan Bowe here. Looking forward to another great series of lectures for you. It's already topic 13, huh? Whoa. We're getting up there, aren't we? Okay. 13, 14, 15, and we're done, huh? So do take a look back here in Unit 12, and we see that here's your submission link, and yours looks a little different than mine, the student link. There'll be a submission button, and looks like we've got one draft submitted. Gave us I think that was Sean's, let's see. And he did a good job. Who's got a submission right here? Yep, Sean Warner. Gave him a little feedback. There's one comment in there. So look for your comments. That was Friday, November 20th. Well done, Sean. Please take more credit for your personal experiment. So he's talking about his personal house and his applications there. So guys, go ahead and get going on this what I like about geothermal paper, please, so that you can get those points. Alright. Let's see what George has to say.
My fellow geothermal students, shall we consider the economic feasibility of funding a small project?
So if you take a look in topic 13 at your Montana Energy Tax Credit Geothermal, let's take a look at that real quick. This solar, nice little website for you here. Solar energy, wind power, alternative energy. And then you see they put geothermal here under alternative energies. Geothermal energy, vast power source from the Earth's molten core. Different than the English approach to the sun charging the Earth. You can see that we've already covered a lot of these basic. This kind of puts it in one place for you here. The dry steam, what are the three types of geothermal power plants? Dry steam, flash steam, and binary power. Binary power is probably the future, isn't it? Because you can use lower temperature resources. Okay, and it's extremely clean. But take a look at this website and incentive alerts. You can get on there. Incentive alerts to tell you when incentives are given up. The Montana state incentives for alternative energy, a lot of them expired in December of 2014, but there are still a few federal incentives that are going to be available to you through 2016, through December of 2016, especially for solar photovoltaic. So can I help you get going if you're doing some residential installations? Energy tax credits for solar energy, free solar evaluation. They just do it from satellite, basically from Google Earth. Solar hot water, geothermal ground source heat pumps. Placed in service starting in 2009 are now eligible for a tax credit for 30% of the cost. 30% of the cost. There's no maximum for existing homes and new construction. These credits are effective through December 21st, 2016. In order to be eligible for the tax credit, geothermal heat pumps must meet Energy Star criteria, which is what we've seen in some of our previous lectures. Incentives, 30%. It's pretty big. Let's take a look here at the Rational Middle Energy Series. This is an excellent source also.
America was founded based on an abundance of land, an abundance of space, an abundance of opportunity, an abundance of social mobility, and, when it came time, an abundance of energy.
Energy is an essential input into our quality of life. It's an essential input into our economy. How do we meet those growing energy demands while at the same time meeting some other key challenges? The environmental challenge, addressing the security issues that surround energy.
The problem here in the United States is that people don't know where energy comes from. We want to flip on our light switches, we want to turn the ignition in our automobiles, and we want to use energy without understanding the consequences.
We import a huge amount of our oil from other nations, and that relates to energy security because we don't have control over that oil.
There have only been these very few times of national emergency, that we've ever thought about our energy supply. So what are those times? 1973 oil crisis, we had to get in line.
The gas wasn't there. There were even days and odd days when you could go. There were long lines. America truly was held hostage. The economy was brought to its knees.
Another example more recent is what happened in, say, 2007 and 2008 when the price of oil went from about $70 up to about $148.
We're not on a path where we choose our own destiny in petroleum, and in fact, many of the regimes and countries that control that petroleum are not friendly to this nation. The only choice we can make is to move ourselves away from oil.
All energy sources have costs associated with them. Those costs come in different forms. There's the costs that come with dollar signs attached to them. You know, how much we pay for gasoline at the pump, how much we pay for our electricity. There's the costs that don't have dollar signs attached to them. Those tend to be environmental costs.
It's virtually incontrovertible that the climate is warming. The evidence is so profound and so comprehensive that that really is not a discussion.
The big question that people still debate is how much warmer and what will the consequences be for people. We know a lot more than we did even a decade or two ago, but there's always going to be uncertainty remaining.
We put stuff into the atmosphere, whether it's the traditional pollutants or carbon dioxide, without recognizing that on some level, some generation in the future is going to have to pay for that, if not our generation.
At least currently in the United States, we don't have a comprehensive climate policy. So while there is a cost to emitting carbon dioxide emissions and a cost to emitting greenhouse gas emissions in the form of increased risk of global climate change, we don't face that economic cost directly.
I don't believe that we will, have one apocalyptic day. I think we will gradually erode our quality of life and the security of our economic well-being until something happens that really shocks the system. Then I think we will act. But the question is that how deep is the hole we've dug before we have to climb back out of it?
It's really about the profound impacts that we are having now. 7 billion people, the doubling of the need of energy on this planet over the course of the next few decades, the doubling of the need that we're going to have to produce food to feed a growing population. This is not just about some kind of blind, feel-good sort of thing. This is about where we're going globally, with more people living more prosperous lives, trying to do more things. The pressure is on, and we have to produce more with less consequence, not just because of climate change, but because of planet change.
There's a responsibility there in terms of making sure that whatever it is that you're doing to produce energy, whether it's drilling oil and gas wells, mining coal, using wind power, using solar, whatever it is that you're doing has an environmental consequence. And the goal ought to be to minimize the environmental impact.
But at the end of the day, a lot of this is really on my shoulders and your shoulders, because we are ultimately the consumers of the energy. But for some reason, we don't understand that. We grow accustomed to having relatively readily available supply. And when you think about all that, you become aware of why we feel the way we feel about energy. It's always been there.
We have this, great possibility of having, cheaper electricity and the ability to sustain our economy and our economic growth with resources that are produced right here in the United States.
If we could address the environmental challenges while simultaneously doing so in a way that people think is economically affordable, is politically feasible, and also addresses energy security concerns, that's where the solutions lie.
If we put our mind to it, the whole energy infrastructure that we have today could be completely changed into a low-carbon energy future just through technology.
We are now starting to see some of these technologies mature on a commercial level, and investors are comfortable enough now with these technologies that investment in renewables has surpassed fossil fuels for the first time in 2011.
At the moment, those energies like wind and solar are more expensive than hydrocarbons, and we will develop technology as we go along which will make these sources more efficient and cheaper.
We need to take a very measured approach. We need to understand that winding down our dependence on fossil fuel is not something that's going to happen overnight, but is going to take place over decades.
These are true 21st century globalized issues, problems, challenges that we now confront that require 21st century globalized solutions.
The question is whether that will be our priority or not, and that's the challenge.
RationalMiddle.com. Go there. Become part of the discussion. There you have it. Teslonian theory. You can watch the rest of that on your own if you'd like.